I'm sitting here with our headliner of the evening, Miss Kitten de Ville, who last night debuted a brand new act at our event on stage for the entire crowd that absolutely ate it up. What I'd like to know is what inspired the act and what process do you go through bringing a concept to reality?
The MIA song actually inspired the act. When the first time I heard it, I was thinking like, oh, I want to do this act and I want to bring in a burqa and I want to do all this stuff. But the whole reason why it became an act was I am doing a show for Ink and Iron, and you had to come up with an act that had a temptress. So for me, the temptress was, the ultimate temptress is Eve. And I was just playing around with the concept of the stigma on women with, you know, like taking away their sexuality and being shameful and stuff. So in my version, the girl is never shameful. She's with the snake, she takes the apple, and then she's like, loves her body and wants to adorn it. And then I play around with the veil and use it to kind of represent Mary and represent the burqa, but also the hidden femininity that is the mystery. And so that was what the act is about for me. And then I just thought the MIA song worked perfect for the Live Fast, Die Young, Bad Girls Do It Well, because she is choosing to live life with knowledge and she doesn't care if she lives or dies. I mean, the death part of it, you know, so that was that. And the whole process of it is then I have this whole realization within 5 minutes of saying I was going to do this act was like, oh, I'm going to have this giant snake and it's going to wrap around me and then I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that. And then trying to make all this come to life. And it's changed a few times over from what I originally thought I was going to do. Originally I was going to put on a Victorian dress and originally very fetishy, more like a black kind of rubbery kind of outfits into a Victorian dress, into a nun habit that would then go down into a burqa, but that was just way too heavy and too dark and not what I was going for. So then I just made it turn into this snake in a way that I became the power.
The message definitely translated to the crowd, and the costume was quite dazzling, I have to say, and it seemed like there was a lot involved in getting all suited up for it. It was a reverse striptease, so a lot of that happened on stage, but tell me a little bit about the actual mechanics of getting set up for this act, because I know there's a lot involved on that flip side that the audience doesn't get to see and I think should probably appreciate.
Yes, this was the most challenging costume I've ever had. First, to get a snake to wrap around you, nothing's going to actually coil and stick to your body without a way to make it stick. And because I was coming out only with the merkin and pasties, there was not much to stick something onto yourself with. So it was all held together by strategically placed magnets that in the original prototype for this was stitched into my fishnets and then the puppet type snake. Well, when I got the real costume made, the fabric was different and heavier, so it wouldn't stitch into my my nets, and I ended up having to tape magnets onto my body, but that took me a couple of day process to realize this could actually happen and make it work. And then there's all the gluing on with the merkin and hoping that holds on, because that also has a magnet that's holding the snake, and when I rip my snake off, I don't want that kind of reveal. And then there's the corset and then try to use the veil also like a boa and do different tricks and things like that with it. So it was kind of complicated, and it takes a lot more time to put clothes on than take it off. So that was the most challenging part of how to put clothes on to still make it interesting for the audience and for the timing of the music.
And it was the first time you had ever performed that act publicly, so all in all, I mean, I watched it, I thought it was wonderful. The crowd seemed to enjoy it. Do you feel like it was a solid first run for you?
I really do. It was very intimidating to get it on stage because I had so many components to it, so much could have went wrong. But it was such a beautiful space, this beautiful venue. I felt confident of bringing it there, and I do feel like I gave birth to it now, and now it is just ready to like get out there in the world. So I feel so much relieved. I felt like it had a good opening, a good start. So I'm happy to like watch it evolve now. Yeah.
And you are an icon of the burlesque industry. You've been in the biz for many, many years and have seen, I'm sure, not only the evolution of our own burlesque culture, but also how it's evolved with pop culture and the world around us over time. Now, I know probably when you started dancing burlesque, Facebook wasn't used as a tool to promote yourself and your events and things like that. So I know now nowadays, that's a really integral part of event promotion for a lot of people. How do you think that the rise of social media has affected the way that burlesquers burlesque and how the industry works in general?
It is incredibly important, social networking, because I honestly get a good 80% of my bookings through connections via Facebook. I do get a lot through my website. I do find, I can't stress it enough, you have to have a website. I really, you can have a Facebook and a Tumblr and all of that, but I do feel that you need your own place for it's just yourself. So it's not going to get taken down. I had a Facebook that they kicked me off for my name, and now I'm trying to bring that back up, and that's a nightmare. So I do think you should have a professional page as well. But I use Facebook as if it's an old-time Hollywood machine, like an advertising machine. And I feel like it's really important that you get good pictures out there, positive things said. Like, don't use it for like a negative Nelly, like, oh, boo-hoo. Like, no one wants to hear your boo-hoo. But it should be used as to promote the best side of you and your character, and it lets people see who you are and be in the public eye. And I think it's incredibly important to keep that up and keep it up in a positive way, and in a positive for your community and who you are, because that's representing yourself. And people should really edit their thoughts before they put it out for the world, because that's who they are.
I agree that our branding as performers is integral to our success and our obligation to our community, like you said, to stay positive and really promote a good image of what we do and how much passion and love everybody has for it, which is something that I saw today as well in the workshop that you taught. Let's talk about that for a second too. We had a sold-out workshop with Kitten de Ville right here in Sacramento, and I think our students loved it. You'll see some testimonials from them later. What do you love about walking into a new place and teaching? Because I know this is something that you do all around the world.
I am incredibly inspired by teaching. I love, the girls, their enthusiasm and the, just kind of like the blossoming of characters and stuff. Mainly that's from like my workshop, where you see somebody over a 6-week class. But for myself, like just teaching and giving back to my community, what I've learned, all the little secret tricks that's taken me years to be like, oh, you can just do it this way, or I like giving that back to them, and it keeps me inspired. It keeps me from not becoming jaded, and I just love the interaction. I like the fact that I can then meet new people that are within, the same business that I'm in, or the same like-minded in a situation that's not just backstage or not audience to performer, and it makes it more real. It makes it more human, and I just think teaching's a wonderful thing, and I think people. It's a gift that you're giving out to other people, and I don't think you should be stingy with knowledge ever. I think it's really great to share and to blossom and to just keep our community growing, and the only way our community is going to keep growing is by sharing ideas and thoughts. And myself, I love taking classes now. I've been doing burlesque for almost 20 years, but there's always something new to learn, or somebody else's way of thinking about something that maybe I'm not going to do it their way, but it's going to click something else in my way of thinking and be like, oh my God. And it's just a sharing of ideas and growth, and it's a powerful thing that more people should be doing, and it's wonderful.
Well, that being said, and with almost 20 years of experience and perspective under your belt, what is it about burlesque that brings out that sizzle inside of you? What is it that you draw from within you to make yourself such a powerful performer and personality on stage and off?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't even know if I have one specific thing that I'm like sizzle, other than I just really adore performing. It's my art form. It's the way I can express who I am from all different aspects, and create something that hopefully will inspire somebody, or make them smile, or giving out joy and love to an audience. And it's an exchange of energy. So I feel like it's just that concept of sharing some kind of art form with the public that just keeps me going, and it keeps me up on stage. And I don't know if there's any like specific thing. I just feel like it's just that overall passion.
It's that sizzle. That's what that is. It's that sizzle.
pinpoint it. I just feel like it's not one. It's just this radiant thing.
It's a little bit of everything and all the things, and the skills and intention and energy that goes into it. If you could give one piece of advice to people that are just emerging in the burlesque world, new performers and producers, drawing from all of your perspective and experience, what do you think from an emotional perspective best arms someone to take on the burlesque world for everything that it's worth?
I think the best thing a new performer or any performer should do is just be themselves. Stay true to who you are, what your passions are, what you want to bring on stage. Do not do something because somebody else is doing it or because you're told it's this way. Never believe that you can't do something. If you really want to do something, if you believe this is the best thing and the best way to do it, then I say do it. Like, develop it, make it your own. It is great to be inspired. I'm inspired by so many different elements outside of burlesque, inside burlesque, just in life as general is an inspiring thing. But I never just go, okay, I'm inspired by, or I want to do it because I saw that girl do it, and take that component of their act, or, you know, that's stealing. So it's very important that if you're inspired, to be inspired, filter it through your own system, your own passions, and then put it out to the world again, but with your concept, your view, your spin on it, and stay true that way. I think that what people get caught in is when they become cookie cutters, like, oh, I have to have a rhinestone corset, I have to have this, I have to do that, and it becomes a burlesque uniform, which is ridiculous. And like, you start seeing a lot of it, and it's just like, ooh, please don't. Or there's moves that people will do, and somebody, you know, a month later is stealing that move and thinking nobody else is going to notice that it's their move, or a signature song, and somebody will do this song even though that, and then I'll look at it and be like, oh wow, Dirty Martini uses that song for her balloon act. You know, like, I mean, there's things that's like, it's not, you know, they don't own that, but there's some things that it's owned because they have made it so much something that they've done, that if you try to recreate it the way they've done it, all that person's going to do is think of the other person and not you. So if you want to become known on stage and not just a cookie cutter, you have to make things your own. You have to find that one thing that people will recognize and always think of you when they see it happen other places. And don't fall in the trap of being told or thinking there's this certain way you have to do something. The only way you have to do something is the way you do it, and make it your own. And that separates star performers from everyday else. You have to stand up and take notice, and people notice people who are genuine and authentic, and that's the only thing. Like, just be authentic. Yeah.
I hope you were all listening very closely to that, because that was excellent advice. I'm here with Kitten de Ville. Please check out her website, kittendeville.net. She's all around the world all the time, performing and producing, and if you get the opportunity to see The Temptress live, you are gonna love it. And that's Sizzle. Can we get a sizzle? Sizzle.